guests on the show who will take all of your stock related query. Remember, you viewers, you can write to us on the WhatsApp number that will be flashing on your screen in a short while from now. Do remember, each time you write to us, you mention your name, the stock that you're looking to invest in, mention that as well. And also, if possible, please do mention from where you're writing to us, because we will be at least be able to know which part of the country or the world you are in and you're writing to us at this point in time. So each time you write to us, mention your name, the stock that you're looking to invest in, your location as well as if you've purchased a stock, mention the buy price, the quantity and the time horizon. Time horizon being very important, because in that way we will be able to direct your queries to our experts in the right manner. Because for short-term queries, we have Kunal Bothra who's joining us on the technicals, while for the long-term, for a fundamental query, we have Sonam Srivastava joining us on the show. Very good morning to you, Sonam, and in a short while we'll also have Kunal actually joining us. But Sonam, he wants to know about Engineers India, 1900 shares at a price of 101 rupees per share, as well as he has Tanla platforms in his portfolio. That stock he's purchased at levels of 694 rupees per share. What should he do? Hold on to both of them or look to exit? He's of the view that he should be adding some more of Tanla platforms in his portfolio. Does it make sense?
So I think, first of all, thanks a lot for having me. And, I'll start by talking about Engineers India. I think the stock has been, consolidating for a little while. I think there has been a little bit of pressure on the engineering segment, on the infrastructure segment, especially the stock that had been valued quite a bit. So, you could, and the recent numbers are also not very attractive for this stock. It's a great long-term buy, but you could hold on to, you could, if you want to offload, you could do that. Talking about Tanla, again, a very interesting stock, right? Very interesting segment. You could hold on to it. I think, once the rate cuts become clear, we could see a rally in IT stocks, right?
On then, and we have Kunal with us right now. Very good afternoon, Kunal. And the first query that I have for you is coming in from Anant Krishnan from Madurai. He has 100 shares of GRSE from a price of 2,300 rupees. How are the medium-term prospects looking like for this one?
So it looks attractive. The stock over the last few weeks has also gone through a correction. I think from 2,800 or 2,700 was the high the stock had made, and it's come back towards 1,770 mark, which means almost a 30% correction into the stock. And I think more or less in line with the other names like some Mascot Dock, Cochin Shipyard, HAL, etc. These stocks have also gone through a very similar kind of a correction, and they've come back between their 50 and their 200 moving averages. The only point in case is that whenever these stocks go into a mean reversion phase, and after the rally which we've seen, there could be a possibility that these stocks may get into a time-wise correction also. So price-wise, it's an attractive price point where you may look to start buying, keep some powder dry in case if the stock dips further. But I believe that you have to be a long-term investor for these stocks to come back into their strong momentum zone and get into a breakout yet again.
All right, this one is coming from Reena Thomas from Kottayam, and she wants to know about Dixon Technologies actually, Kunal. Let me come to you, because 3 shares she purchased a few months ago at a price of 10,352 rupees per share. She wants to know, does it make sense to hold on to it or look to exit? She's at least made a good profit of approximately 3,000 rupees per share, or a little over 3,000 rupees per share on the stock. What's your take now?
I think it's a phenomenal chart. Longer term basis, the stock has done exceptionally well. Even on the quarterly charts, it's the 5th or the 6th consecutive quarter where the stock has respected its higher highs and higher low pattern. So I think in that context, and if you're okay holding on to the stock for the next say 6 to 9 months, then I think it's a good stock where you can look to continue to hold on.
So now the next query is on LIC. Pramod is already holding 20 shares from a price of 904 rupees, very near to the IPO price, but now the stock has moved above those levels. What to do in this one?
So the insurance segment is looking attractive right now with announcement of higher FDI in insurance. I think maybe LIC would not gain from that, but again, there would be a lot of excitement in the insurance segment. So definitely a strong buy, and you can hold on to this one, right?
All right, this next query is coming in from Anju, writing to us from UAE, and Anju has Gujarat State Petronet at 400 shares at a price of around 363 rupees per share. Kunal, she wants to know what should be the strategy in this particular counter. I think it's one of her recent buys or so.
Yeah, it seems like, because I think just recently, in fact today the stock made a high of 367 and it's come back towards 357 mark. The recent swing high for the stock made in the month of March, April was around 399, 400 levels. So I think it's a stock which is showing signs of recovery. I'm not sure whether you are an intraday trader. If that's the case, then potentially maybe the stock could remain sideways for the next couple of days after today's price volume uptick. But I think potentially if you are a 3 month to 6 month kind of a time frame, if you want to hold on to the stock for that kind of a time frame, then I think you can continue to do that with a near-term target range closer to 399.
Alright, Kunal, the next query is on NMDC Limited, wherein Mohit from Ludhiana is holding 500 shares from a price of 136 rupees as a part of the demerger of NMDC Steel. He also have those shares, but specifically on NMDC Limited, any targets to look out for if he keeps these counters for the next 2 years?
So I think NMDC particularly something which I do track, and on that I would probably be very bullish because the stock has completed a rounding bottom formation on the on the yearly charts, and it's, I think, come out of almost a 10-year or a 12-year consolidation when it managed to break past our 150 to 160 barrier. Now on the way up, of course, the stock will be met with a lot of resistances, but when you look at this as a longer term play, say over the next 2 years, 3 years plus kind of a time frame, I believe that these dips should be taken as a buying opportunity. So bullish on NMDC on the longer term charts, and if you are holding on to the stock even at lower levels, continue to hold on.
All right, this one is coming from Gayatri from Chennai. So, Sonam, let me come to you because she's been holding Sobha for the last 2 years at the levels of 540 rupees per share. She wants to know whether she should look to sell it off or continue to hold on to Sobha. A very good set of profits the counter has made because given the fact that she's been able to ride the real estate wave as well.
Right, I think holding this for 2 years has been exceptional, right? We can see there's some consolidation that is happening in the real estate, especially in the Sobha stock. I think she could definitely hold on to it because, like you said, rate cuts are coming. That would be again attractive for the real estate segment where people will have more money to buy on. So if you're looking at it for the long term, then do hold on, right?
Alright, that's a hold coming in on Sobha Developers. But with this, it's time to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Stay tuned to ET Now.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Let's continue taking all of a stock-related query. We have Kunal Bothra on the technicals. We have Sonam Srivastava on the fundamentals. And let me take this query coming in from Sitaram Ganesh, who's writing to us from Chennai. Kunal, this one is for you. He wants to know if Bajaj, Finserv and Eveready are breaking the multi-year resistance right now. And can he look to consider both of these counters for the longer term?
Well, yes. In fact, Bajaj Finserv is something which I did cover up in the chart busters today itself. And my sense is that the stock is confirming or on the verge of confirming a breakout. 1700 mark, if I'm not wrong, is the 1680 to 1700 is the level of breakout for the stock. So that looks very attractive. Even Eveready, I think, is one of the first quarters for the stock in terms of a potential multi-year breakout. So I think both of these charts are attractive. And if you're a long-term investor or even a time horizon of 6 months to 1 year plus, then I think it's a good buy. Both of these stocks at current levels.
Alright, once again coming to you, Kunal. This query is from Swati and she is holding 100 shares of Brigade Enterprise and suffering a loss of 17% out here. She wants to know, will that be a good strategy to move out of this one and rather invest in stocks like HFCL and PCBL for the next 2 years?
See, what I'll probably say is that Brigade itself is a very strong chart. It's one of the best names in the real estate pack in terms of price performance from the lows of 2021, 22 when the real rally started off for the real estate stocks. Yes, you must have entered at the higher point of the stock price trend, but I think buying the stock on dips should be taken as a good strategy. So maybe I think closer to 900, 950 is where you can look to average. But also on the other two names which you mentioned, I'm very bullish on the likes of PCBL. The stock has done exceptionally well from 350 to I think 500, 505 for the recent high for Philip Carbon. It's come back today towards 480 plus mark. But I strongly believe that's a very strong buy on dip. So you may do a partial strategy where you may wait out for Brigade closer to 952 average, but PCBL could be the other stock which should be a strong buy on dips.
All right. This next query that I have is coming in from RK, who's writing to us from Ambernath, wants to know whether between Jupiter Wagons, EID Parry and Praj Industries, which one are a good buy for a period of about 2 years or so? Sonam, what's your take coming in on all these three counters? Jupiter Wagon, EID Parry as well as Praj Industries. If you had to make a pick, which one would you choose to be in a portfolio for a period of 2 years?
So I think CGWL and LT were discussing, all these companies in the PSU basket have been consolidating, and we're just waiting for some breakout or some movement there. On the other hand, EID Parry, right, the sugar segment looks very interesting, and you're seeing agriculture linked stock do very well. So I would assume that should be a good buy. Even Praj industry looks quite interesting, so we can take this pick between Praj and EID Parry.
Moving on, and Kunal, coming to you, because Kaushik Mitra is actually confused which one to pick amongst these counters for a fresh investment and for the next 1 year. He has stocks like Manappuram Finance, L&T Finance as well as Geo Financial in his mind, but which one could be the best pick for him?
Tough one. So I think Geo Finance could probably be one of the stronger ones in terms of the price performance recently, and I think that stock has shown a lot of consistency. Even though on the recent charts the stock has stagnated or shown resistance at the 350-ish kind of levels, but I would probably believe that once the stock breaks past about this barrier again, you could probably expect the stock to start outperforming. Manappuram Finance is a more high beta stock, so recently is where the stock has given a potential breakout. 210 was the breakout point for the stock. So if you're okay with a high beta stock from the gold financiers, then I would probably believe Manappuram Finance could suit up pretty well. And L&T Finance has been more of a long term charts. The stock has given a lot many false starts as well in terms of breakouts at 170 175 mark, but then I think potentially the stock was due for one more round of a breakout about that 175 barrier. So if the stock crosses 175 mark, I think you could probably look to add L&T Finance also.
Okay, this one is coming from Baswaraja, who's writing to us from Bangalore. Kunal, Zomato is the counter that he has about 200 shares at a price of 258 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should continue to stay put with it or look to exit this counter right now.
258 you said is a buy price.
Yes, 258. So looks like it is the recent dip that the stock had taken.
Exactly, and I think what the stock is right now doing on the short term charts is establishing a resistance zone which is around the 270 mark. So 268 or 272 is the trading range for Zomato on the resistance side. So my sense is that if you're a short term investor, then just try and use this 15 point 20 point band as a trading range. Say closer to 270 is where you can look to book profits over here, and then if it dips back again towards 255 mark, that could be a zone where you may look to buy. So bullish on the longer term basis, but expecting sideways consolidation on the short term basis.
All right, the next query that I have is coming in from Satya Veni. Okay, this query is on quite a small cap name, so just skipping that for now. But the next query that I have is on TCS, and Sonam, if you can invest Krishna Kumar, who is holding 60 shares of TCS, buy price is 3,308 rupees. Can he hold for the long term, and any targets to look out for as well?
No, definitely. I think TCS has been sort of giving a breakout, and I think the whole IT segment is looking quite positive with all the announcements of rate cuts that are happening. So I would say definitely hold on to this one. And in terms of target, I think we could look at a 10% target from here.
Let me come right back to you. We have you a bit on the patchy line, so my team will try and reconnect the line with you. But Kunal, let me just quickly come to you because we have Vivek, who has LT Foods at a price of 210 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should add some more in his portfolio, look to exit. His time frame is just 6 months.
Well, I think continue to hold on. Doesn't look like that the stock is into a very strong risk reward territory because of the recent run up, and especially in the last 2-3 weeks from 300 to 370, where it's trading right now. Maybe the stock is a little bit overbought, but it still looks very attractive on the longer term chart. So I would just suggest to hold on to the stock. Trail your stop losses higher, and because it's very difficult to try and decipher till what time will this trend continue. And if it does, then I would probably believe that the stock may even scale past potentially above the 400 level. So rather than booking profits, it's best to try and trail your stop losses and continue to ride the trend.
All right, that's the advice coming in on LT Foods. But with this, viewers, it's once again time to slip into a very short break. 13 queries done, but many more to go, so stay tuned for that. Welcome back to Buy Now Sell Now. Let's keep it going with all your stock related queries. And the next query that I have is coming for you, Kunal. This one is from Prathamesh from Mumbai. He's holding 500 shares of PC Jewelers from a price of 71 rupees. Can he hold for the next 6 months? And at this point, is that a hold or sell? We know that this one is a very volatile counter, but just on the technical front, what's your advice?
Yeah, it's a very volatile counter, and I think recently also the stock has gone through 3 or 4 upper circuits consecutively, and I think today is where the stock has just gone off the upper circuit mode. So maybe I think there could be a chance that the stock may get into a bit volatility. But I think in these kind of stocks, it's always best to have a trailing stop loss mechanism. The only concern is that these stocks where the beta is very high and you are prone with upper circuits or lower circuits. So in case if the stock gets into a spree where it hits lower circuits, then you might be at a point where the stock may consistently get into a downtrend. So that's the only catch with these kind of names. Otherwise, I would probably believe that trailing stop loss mechanism could be a better strategy for stocks like PC Jewelers.
Also, let's not forget PC Jewelers is actually seeing those upper circuit moves also based on news flow, and also it has seen lower circuits based on news flow, isn't it, Kunal? But Kunal, coming right back to you next. This one is coming from Balaji. Yes, he's writing to us from Madurai, and he's wished all of our viewers, all of us at ET Now, happy Janmashtami. Happy Janmashtami to you as well, and all the viewers who are tuning in from across the world. Kunal, Balaji wants to buy Dr. Reddy's as well as Ace. He wants to do a lump sum investment of about 5 lakhs in these counters. I don't know, together 5 lakhs or individually. Is it the right time to buy and put such a huge lump sum amount in both of these counters?
Not a lump sum amount, but I think it's a good strategy where you can look to start, chipping in maybe 20-25% of your expected capital. So Dr. Reddy is just about, start to get into the groove in terms of a breakout, crossing levels of 6,700 recently, and it's now closer to that 7,000 mark. So I think at current levels, you can look to start buying the stock, expecting that even if the stock gets into a phase of consolidation, you can look to add further. Ace on the other hand, I think has gone through a correction already. The stock has come back from 1600, 1650 mark towards 1300 or sub 1300 levels, and it's very close towards its 200-day moving average, which means that the risk reward to initiate a buy at current levels could be slight better for Ace. So you can look for a buy, but not an entire chunk, but maybe a partial at current levels.
Alright, Sonam, the next query is from Ranganath, holding 500 shares of Akums Drug and Pharma, one of the recently listed counters, but his buy price is 930 rupees. The earnings also look decent for this counter, but what's your advice? Good to hold on or maybe look out for better opportunities?
So I don't really track the particular counter, but yeah, I think the price has run up very sharply since the listing, and you're seeing some consolidation. I think the segment definitely looks interesting. So, if you have a long-term view and you can hold on to a mid-cap stock, then it seems like a good buy, right? Good hold.
This next one is coming from Krishna Kumar. He wants to know about Strides Pharma now. Once upon a time, Strides are collab, 1,000 shares at a price of 330 rupees per share, Kunal. And he's also mentioned the fact that he's sitting on a 3 times return. What's the strategy now? Book profits or stay put?
So continue to stay put. It's a phenomenal chart when we look at this on the longer term basis. The stock is also, I think, if I'm not wrong, the history I remember, it's a high dividend paying stock, and all of a sudden you see a sudden high dividend for the stock price. So even after digesting that for the last decade and more for Strides Pharma, the stock has been reasonably strong. So I think currently also the stock is nearing towards a breakout of the 2013-14 high, which is closer to 1400-1414 mark for the stock price. So very strong chart, continue to hold on.
Alright, Sonam, what's your view coming in on Uno Minda? Ramesh from Delhi wants to know, is this a good buy at current levels of close to 1100 rupees where he can stay invested for the next 1 year?
Is this for me?
Yes, Sonam, for you.
Yeah. See, I think again a very interesting stock in the automobile segment, and the auto demand continues to remain strong, and you are sitting with decent amount of gains, so you could hold on to this one for a little while.
This next query is coming in from Jaya from Bangalore, and it's been holding 55 shares of Polyplex at a price of 1,320 rupees per share for the last 2 years. Kunal, the stock, does it make sense for her to stay put with right now, because the stock did hit a high recently about 1370, and from there on it's come off?
Yeah, and I remember, I think, few months back or few quarters back, there were a lot of queries on Polyplex. I remember I mentioned a point where the stock was trading significantly below the long-term moving averages, and I mentioned a threshold as a breakout that whenever the stock crosses above the long-term average, that could be a point of a reversal. That's happened for Polyplex. The stock crossed this 200 DMA in the month of June when it crossed 970 to 1000 levels, and from there the stock has moved up another 30%, 35%. So it still now remains into a trending mode on a breakout side. So this 200 moving average could act as a support. I would suggest to continue to hold on to the stock if you're a long-term investor.
All right, moving on, and Kunal, once again coming to you because Neha wants to know about two counters and their potential target maybe for the next 1 to 3 months. She's already holding Rupa and Company and making 30% profit. Firstly, is this good to hold on? And the other one, she's looking out for targets on Ashok Leyland, where too she's already making 25% profits right now.
So both of them are a hold from my side. Rupa, I think the stock is getting into a breakout. We've seen how the likes of Page, Dollar, etc. These stocks have moved up. So I think in that context, there could be a significant upside which could be at play. I'm assuming you are a longer term investor for both of these stocks. So I would suggest a hold on both of these names.
All right, Kunal, sorry, once more coming to you because we have Venu from Chennai who wants to know a target for IEX. He has about 1,000 shares of IEX, which he's purchased at the levels of about 200 rupees per share. So he wants to know a short-term target for IEX.
So the only catch with this stock is it's testing patience for short-term traders where the stock is facing some resistance at the 200 mark. But then when we look at this over the context of the last 6 months of rally, the stock has formed a higher low for itself, which means potentially the stock should break past about the 200 level. So if you are a medium-term investor, say with a time horizon of 3 to 6 months, I would probably believe that 220 to 25 could be in the offing once the stock confirms a breakout about 200 levels.
Alright, Sonam, the next query is on Balrampur Chini, wherein Vara Prasad is holding the 525 shares and already making 50% profit in this one. What's your outlook out here? And the other query is on Divi's Lab, where too he's already making 29% profit. What to do in both of these, hold or book some partial profits right now?
See, I think Balrampur Chini, again, like you said, the agriculture linked segment, sugar is looking quite attractive, and we've seen quite a run up for this particular stock. And like we have seen a little bit of run up, if he's looking to book profit, he can do that. But otherwise, it looks like a good stock. In terms of Divi's Lab, again, we're seeing a resurgence in the pharma segment. The stock has run up a lot. And like Kunal was saying, there could be a breakout in this stock even further. So again, please do hold on to this one.
All right, this one is coming in from Anusha, who's writing to us from Karnataka, wants to know about Marksans Pharma, Kunal. The buy price is 165 rupees per share. She wants to know whether she should book profit or hold for the next 6 months to 1 year time. She wants your view on this one.
So I think the only tweak which you should be doing is to your time frame rather than looking at this as 6 to 1 month. Look at this as potentially the next 3 to 5 years because the stock has ended a major price pattern breakout. So it's completed a rounding bottom breakout on the long term charts, ending almost 14 to 16 years of consolidation when it managed to break past about the 120 levels. Those charts generally augur extremely strong on the longer term basis. So if you have that kind of a appetite to hold on to the stock for the next 3 to 5 years, then continue to do that for Marksans.
Alright, Sonam, the next query is on CDSL, though the stock has already seen a great run up, but Raghavendra now wants to know, can he go ahead and invest afresh in this one with a long-term investment horizon?
So I think definitely, you can buy into this for the long term. The segment where CDSL is in is a great play in the capital market, and CDSL is a very safe stock in this segment. So definitely, it's a great long-term buy, and he can buy it for the long term.
All right, this one is coming in from Puneet, who's writing to us from Gurgaon. He has about 100 shares of Hindustan Zinc at a price of 678. He has also Poonawalla Fincorp at the price of 438, NHPC at 113. Kunal, out of these three stocks, which one do you think makes sense to go ahead and buy some more or stay put with whatever he has for a period of about 2 months?
So I think all three of them are good. Poonawalla Fincorp, NHPC as well as Hindustan Zinc. Hindustan Zinc, if I'm not wrong, came out with a dividend. So I'm not sure whether your prices are adjusted to that. But I think at current levels for all three of the names, it's a good strategy where you can look to buy or average further because all three of them are quality stocks in their respective spaces. Yes, these stocks have gone through a phase of 2 month, 3 month correction, but that's how the sector rotation plays out. So buying on dips into these stocks, and especially at mean reversion points of 200 moving average, generally turns out to be a good strategy for a long-term investor.
All right, the next query, Kunal, is coming in on Pricol. The stock has seen a one-way run-up in the past 1 year, but Ram wants to know, can he go ahead and invest at current market price for a long-term investment?
You can look to buy the stock, but I would probably believe buying on phases could be a better strategy because the stock gets into an intermittent pause every time it gets into a breakout. Like very recently, the stock moved from 440 to 500 in the month of April, May. and from those 500 levels, the stock stagnated towards the last 2-3 months before heading towards a breakout yet again from those 500 levels to 540 recently. So with that intermittent pause, I think you should try and take advantage of those dips and look to buy on dips for the stock.
All right. This next query is coming in from Pavitra, who's writing to us from Bangalore. She wants to know about Ola Electric, but given the fact that it's a recently listed counter, Pavitra, Kunal may not be able to give you the right view because of the limited chart history. In fact, I'll take it to Sonam. Sonam, I believe that she has got about 53 shares of Ola Electric, and she wants to know whether she should look to hold or continue, look to exit at this price, as well as on Yes Bank and Tata Tech. Yes Bank and Tata Tech, I think she wants to purchase new. She's not given any sort of a price for that one. But for Ola Electric, do you think it makes sense to look to stay put with this one or look to exit now?
I think she's made a lot of profit, so congratulations on her for that. I think it's a very interesting stock. It's become a favorite of investors and seems to be doing very strongly. I would say she could hold on to it because you could see more movement because the EV theme is definitely quite strong and the stock is getting a lot of momentum. In terms of the other stocks, I think again, Yes Bank and Tata Technologies both are quite good stocks, and we are seeing movement in both of these stocks. I think Yes Bank could see a breakout, once the rate cuts announcements come out, and similarly on Tata Technologies, right? We see a good path ahead. So all three stocks look good, and if she's looking to book out some profits in Ola Electric, she can do that at these levels.
All right, the next query that I have, Kunal, is coming in from Deepa, and she wants your advice on two counters between Syrma, SGS, as well as Tilak Nagar Industries. Any of the stock you would like for a fresh investment right now for the next 2 to 3 years?
So Tilak Nagar Industries could be better, at least looking at the short-term charts. Syrma SGS is trading below the long-term average, and I think it's been doing that since the last 2-3 months, even though the stock has not seen any major correction. So maybe there could be a chance that the stock may get into a second round of correction. So maybe at 10%, 15% lower levels, the risk reward could be better for Syrma. But Tilak Nagar so far on the short-term charts looks attractive. The stock is at 252 levels, trading above both these key averages. So I think that's a much more better chart comparatively.
All right. Next is coming in from Jay from Mumbai. Wants to know about Adani Power. 400 shares at price of 700 rupees per share. Should he look to hold or exit? Kunal?
I think you should look to exit the stock. It's a very high beta name, and I think makes sense to now shift towards two of the other prominent stocks. So if you're looking at mid-cap names, I would still believe Torrent Power and Tata Power could be stronger names which you can consider. And if you're looking at larger cap traditional stocks, then Power Grid, NTPC are also the other names which you can focus on.
Alright, sorry Kunal for not giving you a breather, but the next query is a short-term query coming in from Gangapati, holding 100 shares of Aarti Industries. His buy price is 740 rupees. We already know how did the stock react post its earnings, but his buy price is quite at elevated levels. What to do in this one, and in the short term, which targets to look out for?
So yeah, as you rightly said, it's a stock which was faced with some sort of negativity in terms of results. But it's a quality stock. The stock has recovered very well from those 450 levels from the 2020-23 lows. So I strongly believe that potentially over the next, say, 6 months, 1 year plus, the stock could find its mojo back. I would suggest that if possible, in case if the stock corrects towards, say, 550 mark, that could be a point where you may look to average further.
All right, let me take this next query then. This one is coming in from Calicut, from Najib from Calicut. He has Adani Transmission, 1500 shares, a price of around 912 rupees per share. He's not been seeing any upward momentum in this particular counter. In fact, he's seeing a loss at this point in time. Actually, Sonam wants to know whether it makes sense that the viewer should exit from Adani Transmission and look to, in fact, park that money maybe in a Coal India or, for the matter of fact, Zomato.
For sure, like Kunal said, that these stocks have become a little bit high beta, and he could look to exit these stocks. And I think Zomato definitely is the investor favorite, and Coal India is also seeing good movement. So you could actually go on to these stocks.
All right, Kunal, the next query is on Ugro Capital, wherein Poonam Anand from Punjab is holding 200 shares from a price of 269 rupees. What to do in this particular stock?
Well, the near-term support is closer to 220 to 215 for Ugro Capital. That was the low the stock made in the month of May. when it fell into a correction. So I sense that the stock is going through a time-wise consolidation. So maybe closer to 220 mark is where you can look to average further.
All right. This next query that I have is coming in from Madhu Sharma. Okay, Madhu Sharma has given one word, sort of a query. So let's wait for a more expanded query. Shilpa has written to us about Hudco, Kunal. The buy price is 287 rupees per share. Makes sense to stay put for the next 1 month?
Not exactly for 1 month, but I sense that the stock may probably get into a time-wise consolidation, which is going. But it's an excellent chart from longer-term basis. In the next 1 month, I would probably believe that there could be a potential, range trading for the stock. 255, 260 could be a base, and on the upside, 300 approximately could be a resistance.
Right, Kunal, the next query is coming from Neelam from Jaipur, and she's already making like 15 to 20% profit in 2 counters. Firstly is New India Assurance and the other one is PEL. Need a technical view in this one for the next 2 to 3 months. Any targets to look out for?
Very bullish on both of these counters. My sense is that New India Assurance could probably come back into a breakout again about the 300 levels. Piramal Enterprise, also I think the stock has found its mojo back, and from the recent lows of 950, 970, the stock recently crossed 1050, 55 levels I think last week or so. So looks attractive, and potentially for the next 3 months I would probably place a rough target, say closer to 1150 to even 1250 mark for Piramal.
Alright, on that note, let's slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. When we come back, more queries to be answered, viewers, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now. Let's continue taking all of his stock related queries. The next query is coming in from Jude. He's writing to us from Mumbai and he wants to know about HDFC Bank as well as HAL. Kunal, he is actually sitting at a slight loss on both of these counters. What's your take coming in on HAL as well as HDFC Bank now?
I think long-term best quality stocks in their respective sectors. So I would probably believe that it's a time where you should hold patience into these quality names. Buying on dips is a better strategy for both of these stocks. I'm very bullish on their prospects over the long term. We've seen many a times that quality stocks, they would probably get into a 3-year, 5-year time horizon of consolidation. There have been many cases of a 10-year consolidation for say stocks like Reliance Industries also, but then these stocks, they tend to reward and play a very strong catch up. So hold is what I would recommend if you're a long-term investor into both of these names.
Alright, the next query that I have, Sonam, is coming in from Venkat Ramani, holding 700 shares of Lemon Tree Hotel. His buy price is 93 rupees. In the next 1 year, any targets to look out for here, Sonam?
See, I think the stock definitely looks interesting. See, has seen some correction, I think, post the results. In terms of targets, I would say, we could look at the recent highs, which was around 160 points for this stock. But yeah, I think the segment looks fine, and some of the peers in this segment have actually been very exceptional performance in the recent times. So do hold on to it. I think a target of 160 from here looks interesting.
Right, the next one is coming from Balan. Kunal, for you, he has Biocon at the levels of 345. He has IGL at a level of 550 rupees per share. He's saying both of these stocks are stagnant. Should he look to hold or shift to other counters like Ipca Labs or SBI?
So shifting from IGL to SBI could be a good strategy, but Biocon is something which I would suggest a hold. Very bullish on the charts on the longer term basis, and what we are seeing right now in the last 6 months is potentially could be a major breakout for the stock on the longer term basis. So Biocon is a hold.
Alright, Sonam, the next query is on MapMy India. Narayan from Vizag is holding the shares from a price of close to 2,400 rupees, sitting at a loss. What to do in this one?
I think there's a lot of competition that is coming up in this segment, and we are seeing some correction happen for this particular stock. So, if you are looking to sort of looking for short-term gains, then you could probably, look to exit this particular stock and find more opportunities in the IT segment. But in the long term, definitely it's a fundamentally strong company that you could hold on for.
All right, taking next to you, Kunal. This one's from Mika, who's writing to us from UAE, a regular viewer of the show. NIIT is a stock, 200 shares at a price of 114 rupees per share. Sell or hold?
Definitely a hold.
All right, so that's a hold. That was the shortest answer actually, and it's not even rapid fire yet.
Yeah, even I wasn't prepared for that, but let me take the next query. And Kunal, the next query is on Nykaa. Umesh Gupta is holding the shares from a price of 171 rupees. What to do in this one?
Very bullish on the stock, and I have been tracking the stock recently from the lows of 150, 155 plus mark with the stock made recently. I think it's a potential case of a turnaround. The stock has crossed about its 200 moving average, so bullish on the prospects over the near to medium term.
All right, moving on then, let me take the next query from Deep, who's writing to us from Dubai. Just a quick note to all of our viewers, 40 queries down, some more to go. Kunal, Deep is holding Dalmia Bharat at a price of around 2,326 rupees per share. 400 shares is what he's holding in his portfolio. Exit or continue to hold? A sharp correction, is it?
Exit the stock. I think that the stock is getting to a stagnation in terms of trading range, lack of momentum. So nothing major in terms of the chart patterns on the short to medium term charts.
Alright, Sonam, what's your view on Sundaram Finance? S. Balaji holding 20 shares, buy price is 4,560 rupees. What to do in this one? Average now or book loss?
I think the NBFC segment has started looking interesting. We're talking about Bajaj, Finserv and all these sectors as well with the rate cuts coming. So I would say, if he has some patience, then he can actually hold on to this particular stock.
All right, this one is coming from Jai Krishnan, Kunal. ONGC 340 is the buy price for the medium term. What should the viewer do right now? ONGC among the top gainers on the Nifty today, but the viewer is not making a profit.
Yeah, bought at the higher price, but I would suggest that keep some powder dry in case if the stock dips back again towards sub 320 mark, say 315, 320 range. It could be a good range where you can look to add further.
All right, so one of the next queries on IRFC. Sand Rath from Hyderabad. I'm sorry if I pronounced the name incorrectly, but he's holding 500 shares of IRFC. His buy price is 196 rupees. So, your advice on IRFC, should wait or maybe average out at this price point?
I think, like we were discussing, there is a little bit of consolidation that is happening in the PSU stocks that have run up quite a lot, and we are at the lows and we're waiting for a trigger for them to sort of recover from these levels. So you could in fact hold on to this particular stock and be watchful for any particular cube because these are slightly high beta names.
Now let me ask you about a stock which has been everyone's favorite of late, and that is Ireda. 250 shares Anwar has purchased at levels of about 224 rupees per share. For the short term, add some more or look to exit?
Don't be in a rush to add more. I think the stock is going through time-wise consolidation. It should stagnate for another 3 to 6 months. So give it a pause and maybe closer to 220, 225 in case if the stock dips down to, that could be a point where you look to average.
Alright, that's the take coming in on IRDA, but viewers, 45 queries done, but more to go in the rapid fire session that we are starting right now. And the first query that I have is coming in on Texmeco Rail. Sonam, Kamal wants to know, can he go ahead and make a fresh investment out here?
We could do that. The stock is at a low and it has strong order book. So you could, if you're bullish about a segment, you could do that.
Next one is coming from Shrikant, who is disappointed we've not been able to take his queries. Birla Soft, Kunal, 200 shares at a price of 450 rupees per share for the past 2 years. He's holding on, wants to hold for the for a long term. Does it make sense? What sort of upside can he see? Yeah,
definitely hold on, and I probably believe that the stock could break past about the previous size of 750 at least.
Alright, Kunal, Praveen wants to know the short-term target on Hindalco. His buy price is 678 rupees.
I think 705, 720 could be a near-term target range for Hindalco.
Another target is coming out for you, Kunal. B. Soumya, she's asking about Nykaa. 200 is the buy price. What's the target now?
So after the last week's price volume breakout, I think 250 to 45 could be a near-term target for the stock.
Alright, the next query is coming in on Zydus Life Sciences and Sonam. Korean is holding the shares from a price of 876 rupees. What to do in this one?
See, the stock is run up a lot and we are seeing some consolidation that's happening right now. We're seeing some correction happening today as well. But again, it's a very strong stock for the long term, and I would recommend, if you're fundamental focus, then please do hold on.
Alright, Jio Financial, 555 shares is what Ranjan has, not mentioned the buy price, but for the long term, still a hold, Sonam?
Jio Financial, again, looks interesting, and we see with the rate cuts coming, NBFC could in fact have a good run, so you can hold on to it.
Alright, Kunal, Rudra Goda is holding the shares of Jamuna Auto. Buy price is 131 rupees, hold or exit.
Hold on, potentially average closer to 120 mark.
All right, this one is coming in from Madhu, wants to know about Bombay Burma, wants 5 shares at a price of 2,500 rupees per share. Kunal, what is the 6-month target for Bombay Burma?
Looks attractive, and I think potentially the stock can even scale past to 2,750, 2,800 levels.
All right, so the next query is from Suresh. Query is, how good is Balmer Lorry for a 1-year investment horizon?
I'm sorry, I did not get this now.
Okay, Kunal, any view on this one?
Yeah, I think again the stock is stagnating, but it's a good chart. Continue to hold on if you're a long-term investor.
All right, with that we come to the end of the rapid fire. Key to note that we did cross the 50 queries mark in the rapid fire. Kunal is all happy, was hoping to touch that target, and yes, Kunal, we did it once again. We managed to take in excess of about 50 queries today as well. Thank you so much, Sonam, as well as Kunal, for resolving all of our stock related queries. And viewers, for those who we've not been able to answer today, please don't be disheartened. We're trying to take as many as queries as possible, and hopefully tomorrow we will be able to even cross that mark. So thank you so much for writing to us. With that, it's a goodbye to Shrishti, myself, and the team that put the show together.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.